A season has changed, but the spotlight has not. It still beats down on Tiger Woods, who finished last year with 4 straight wins. From the Magic Kingdom to the Mediterranean. His start here in Maui looked like a continuation of dominance, leading by 4 after 36 holes. But a poor round yesterday saw Tiger lose the lead, only to gain back a share with eagle at 18, putting him in position for a 5th consecutive PGA Tour start with a victory. Just a moment ago at the 10th hole, Ernie at this point leading by 1, his second shot at the par 4.
Flagstick all the way back left.
And for a landing on the putting surface, that is not the result you hope for or deserve. This is Ernie live with his 3rd shot. Bill Kratzert is with Eltz.
And Mike just in that first cut of rough, so he can get the club underneath it pretty well, but the pin is cut so close to the edge. Very difficult shot.
Playing in groups of 2, it's Ernie and Tiger Woods in the last group. And watch Tiger's second shot a moment ago at 10 as well.
Players have had this shot for 4 straight days. They certainly ought to know how to play it.
So Tiger will have that putt for birdie. Ernie has his putt for par. Let's show you how the day has transpired to this point. They both started at 11 under par, parred the opening hole, and here's the second, a par 3, 219 yards. Ernie Eltz, who has played bogey-free golf for the majority of the end of Friday's 2nd round, all of yesterday's 3rd round, and all the way thus far today, cozies it up to birdie range. He took a 1-shot lead at 12 under par. Both players birdied the par 5 5th on to the 6th. Tiger, for back-to-back birdies, joins Ernie at 13 under par. Then on to 7, the par 4. Eltz scrambled, got up and down to make a nice par. Tiger 3-putted the 7th, dropped a shot, so Eltz back in the lead. And to the 9th, the par 5. Both players near the green in 2.
This is not a difficult bunker shot, but he made it look easy.
You saw Ernie Eltz's ball on the green. That's where Ernie had put his 3rd shot, so this was for birdie. Actually, this is Ernie live, beg your pardon, for par at 10. So Ernie Eltz, who birdied the 9th along with Tiger Woods, who had a 1-shot lead coming to this 9th hole. Eltz drops a shot here at 10, so he falls back to 13 under par, and Tiger Woods has the opportunity to take the lead.
Could be a big 2-shot swing here, and at this point in time in the game, it's could be something that both look back on.
Andy North is with Tiger this afternoon, actually this evening on the East Coast.
Thank you, Mike. Tiger's really played beautifully so far. He's hit every fairway, every green. He's had a bunch of opportunities. He's only made a couple, and we showed the 1-3 putt. Big putt for him. Straight down grain, downwind. If anything, it might want to go just a tad to the left.
And he knows it's a big putt. He knows if he makes this, he takes the lead, takes some momentum back from Ernie Eltz. And Ernie all of a sudden has to be the aggressor. Wind has been gusting all week long. We've talked about it so much. It's been blowing the last 2 days, not quite as hard. Today, not quite as hard as yesterday, but it's still gusty enough to knock you off balance. If you're not ready, start all over again.
So for the first time today, Tiger Woods alone in the lead at 14 under par. Ernie Eltz 13 under par. As you see, it is essentially a 2-man race for the first title of the new season. from Hawaii as ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, and the PGA Tour present live primetime final round coverage of the 2000 Mercedes Championships. When you have the trade winds blowing as they have been throughout this week, the weather's a little bit more changeable, so we've gone from a sunny morning to a cloudy midday. It's 3 o'clock now here in Hawaii, but that wind is down a little bit from the past couple of days. Here's the Pacific Life leaderboard, a look at how they stand behind Woods and Else. David Duval, the defending champion here, is 2 under for the day. He's made 3 birdies, but not enough to make a move on the last few groups. Jesper Parnevik has been nothing short of remarkable. He's 7 under and has made 23 birdies on the week. We only had 8 players under par after the first day, 7 after the second day, and right now 15 players are under par, so that illustrates how the scoring conditions have become a little bit easier at the Plantation Course here in Kapalua, Maui, Hawaii, where par is 73. Only the winners from last year get to compete to start the new season. They're over to the 11th, and we say hello to Ian Baker Finch.
Hello to you too, Mike. And what a swing that was. Tiger Woods taking a 2-shot swing at the 10th. Tees off first here at the 11th. Downhill par 3, 163 yards.
Ian, the wind is blowing quite hard. Not as much behind him, more from right to left. With this hole tucked well over in the left-hand corner of the green, just any shot at the middle of the green, the wind should help you. Take it right over by the hole. Tiger's been playing the 3/4 punch shot here all week long.
In fact, Andy, he's taken a little 7-iron each time. Today, maybe just an 8-iron, I think. The wind not quite as hard from the right as it has been the first 3 rounds. Just started out at that right edge and let it drift in towards the hole. And a good attacking shot, and certainly a birdie opportunity from there. Now let's take a look at this baby. This is the new CL 500. Top of the range in the new Mercedes range, and the most innovative and advanced model that they have. And that one is wicked. Ernie Els is the last one with a chance to take that baby home with him. Come on.
And right now, Ian, the wind picked up just a little bit more. Another gust has come up. Ernie with 1 club more than Tiger, just trying to nudge down on a 7-iron, just hold it against the wind. But right now, this wind is blowing pretty hard.
One thing they must not do here is be long or left.
Well, if this is right, this could be great. Hit the flagstick.
This certainly is turning into a match play situation with just 7 holes to play after this one. Ernie Els, majestic stroke. Hit the flag about 10 feet above the green, and he'll have about a 6-footer for 2.
Well, pretty good golf as we join you for our live primetime coverage. Mike Tirico with the 2-time U.S. Open champion, our 2001 U.S. Ryder Cup captain, Curtis Strange. We had a front seat for Tiger Woods' last 3 victories, and he continued to string in most of those victories. We'll show you last year, Tiger, many occasions, led after 54 holes, went on to win the tournament. He's done it 11 times in his career. As a matter of fact, the last 11 times in his career that he's led going into the final round or been tied for the lead, he went on to win. That's the case starting today as Woods and Els were tied for the lead. But, Curtis, I see this one as a little bit different because given the margin or who was behind him, this is the toughest set of circumstances in that column because Ernie Els was tied for the lead with him.
Ernie Els, he can play. Remember, it was only about 2.5 years ago Ernie Els won the U.S. Open in 1997, and he was the man we all talked about as being the really, truly next superstar. Right. He's taken a little bit of a back seat. He's, had some life changes, got married, had a baby, but he still wants to do it. And I really feel like he has a little extra pressure on himself today to do it. He wants to do it. He wants to prove that he can beat Tiger because down deep inside, Ernie cares more than he shows outwardly. I think being in the last group with Tiger in the same group the last couple of days has certainly impacted Ernie Els. He was a little more aggressive on the golf course yesterday, and his score showed it. Here's David Duval. Charlie Reimer's watching.
It's a tough little shot. Going to have to play it well short of the green and get a good bounce. Great golf shot right there.
David started the day 4 back. He's now 5 off the lead, so he's playing as well as the leaders. Just too much margin to make up. You've heard from Ian Baker Finch. You'll hear from him again at 14 and 17. And on the golf course, Andy is with Tiger in the same group. Bill Kratzert with Ernie Els and Charlie Reimer just a moment ago, who's following David Duval, and Brent Geiberger, who's 3 over on his round today and is currently in 8th. As we go back to the last group at 11.
And Tiger Woods just surveying what he has left here for his birdie putt.
Ian, you made a good point just a minute ago. These two players being 4 and 5 shots clear of David Duval in 3rd place. It is a match play situation right now. Don't you agree?
Definitely right. And it is a perfect opportunity for Ernie Els to put those demons behind him and take on the #1 in the world and beat him at his own game.
Well, guys, if Ernie's going to do that, he better be about 4 or 5 under this back 9. Tiger's got that look. He practiced late into the evening last night. He was unhappy the way he was swinging the club yesterday, and he's come out here and he's hit the ball absolutely as solidly as he could every single shot so far today.
As you can see there, 2 under par, 34, the front 9, 3 birdies, 1 blemish at the 7th, same as yesterday, making a uncharacteristic bogey in the short par 4. And then a really good birdie at 10, as Ernie made a mistake. He's only made a few so far this week. 2 rounds bogey free for Ernie Els in the first 3 rounds.
Ian, this is a real makeable birdie putt. Even though it's in the 25-foot range, it's going to just slide a little bit from left to right the last 6 or 8 feet of the putt.
Down grain to start and then left to right grain as it gets closer to the hole. Will break towards us.
Try.
Good aggressive putt for Tiger. We don't see him leave too many short of the hole. You can see there the course architects, Bill Corr and Ben Crenshaw. 1991 was the opening year, and they've done a fine job of this golf course considering the terrain they had to work with. Fairways and greens are Bermuda grass. And 63, 10 under par, 2 times the course record. David Duval shooting one of those in the 2nd round last year when he went on to win here by 9 shots with a 266 total. Now Ernie Els.
And Ian, this putt, a little bit of a fooler. Appears to be pretty straight, but probably should take kind of a left center line. This putt will move a little bit to his right.
This to tie the lead.
Hold on.
So Tiger Woods will just need to tap this in now, just a 2-footer or so to remain tied at 14 under.
Ian, we're going to see the players take some time on these short putts. There's just enough grain, and all it takes is one little gust of wind to throw you off balance, and you can miss them. So you'll see the players give these some thought and a little bit of effort and time.
I think one of the things both these players have at their advantage is they both live in Orlando and they play on Bermuda greens day in, day out. So they're used to that type of grass.
So we are all tied. Both players at 14 under par. Let's look what's ahead for them.
Even though the 12 plays at 373 yards, it's still very drivable. The aggressive line is up the left-hand side. That brings us tall grass into play. We've seen lots of guys chopping around in this stuff through the first 3 rounds. If the players can keep it out of this stuff, they've got a great chance of making birdie here. Over to Bill Kratzert at 13.
Once again, the par 4 13th hole has been the most difficult hole on the golf course. And with today's hole location, that trend should continue. Players have to avoid the bunker on the left-hand side, so they're going to hit shots wide of the flagstick on the right-hand side and try to work it down towards the hole. Very tough hole to birdie. Now to Andy at 14.
It's hard to believe that the 305-yard par 4 14th is played the 8th most difficult hole. The reason being is playing into the wind and dramatically uphill. To make matters worse, today the hole's cut only 6 yards on the front of the green. Any ball that comes up just a little bit short has a chance to run all the way off the green.
Ernie away off the tee at 12.
Looking a little bit to the right-hand side. But that's going to be absolutely perfect.
Up on the green at 12 a moment ago.
David has had great birdie opportunities. His 8, 9, 10, and 11. Hasn't converted any of them. Needs to convert this one.
Wasn't happening with his putting on Thursday and Friday. Was much happier yesterday. Now Woods.
Going with that 2-iron off the tee, just trying to put it in the top of the hill, leaving himself one of those 60, 70-yard sand wedge shots.
So Tiger Woods at 14 under, Ernie Els at 14 under. Tiger was looking for a third birdie in a row on the 11th. Didn't make it. We've got a game. ESPN's primetime coverage of the PGA Tour's Mercedes Championships is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, located on the web at mbusa.com. Look back at the field and how everyone stands in relation to par today. As we mentioned, scoring is a little bit better. Par 73. 37 on the second 9, just one par 3 on the back. And here is Jesper Parnevik at 7 under par.
And this is playing the easiest hole on the course today, Mike. There's been 9 birdies here so far. And Jesper Parnevik currently tied for 4th with the left-handed Canadian Mike Weir, who has just had 5 birdies in a row to be 7 under as well.
Jesper making 19 birdies the first 3 days, sorry. And he's already made 4 today. That's for number 5. He's made plenty of birdies. He's just made too many mistakes.
Is David Duval second at 13. Ignore the whole location. Try and hit it to the middle of the green and let the slope bring it towards the pin. That's right where he aimed that golf ball.
Tiger Woods with a second shot laid well back, 130 yards, just a full sandwich. He made this decision based on the hole being cut right on the front portion of the green. Should be able to hit in here with a lot of spin.
The wind's going to take the spin off of it. Pretty good there, Andy.
You see the wind. The wind is part of a very big equation that's essential to understanding this golf course.
Well, the overriding characteristic of the plantation course is everything goes the same way. The slope of the mountain goes this way. The wind comes off the mountain, the trade winds, and the grain goes with the other two. That means you have to put the ball below the hole in the greens to have birdie opportunities. Anything above the hole is very, very fast. It's all the same way to Molokai, too.
Mike. I know it said it at the bottom of the thing, to Molokai that way. It's good. I'm glad you picked that up.
Now Ernie getting ready to play his second shot. Ernie with a 3-wood off the tee and only has 54 yards to the flag, and I can't help but think this is a little bit tougher shot than what Tiger had, simply because he's not going to be able to spin it. Has to play a little bump and run.
As you said, Bill, it's Ernie Els and Tiger Woods to the green at the 12th. A 2-man race. As we welcome you back, Ernie Els at the 12th. We told you about Mike Weir before. At the 16th, his second shot. Mike's birdied the last 5 holes to get 7 under par.
And he really has turned into a solid player. Really started coming into his own last year. Played so well in the PGA, the Western Open. Won his first tournament up in Vancouver. Expect a lot out of him again this year.
He won the Air Canada Championship in front of the fans of his homeland. And Weir was in the final group with Tiger at the Western and also at the PGA Championship, so certainly those experiences help the process fast forward a little bit into getting himself acclimated, playing with the best on a regular basis. And now Woods for birdie.
You know, it takes time to do that. When a player breaks in, you don't automatically become comfortable in the last group. You have to be there. And this for the lead.
Very, very straight putt. This green's much slower than the rest. Wind coming from his left.
Andy, grain and wind. When you're into the grain, into the wind here at Kapalua, the last thing you have to think about is hit it. Hit it hard enough.
Both players make par 12, stay at 14 under. Par 4 13th is ahead. Talking about how the field has done on Saturday, the weather conditions proved with more rounds under par in round 3 than rounds 1 and 2 combined. Total, the field was 59 under in the 3rd round. Compare that to day 1 and day 2 total of 99 over par. And a field of 30, that gives you an idea per player, about 3 strokes less.
This is a very quick putt for David Duval here at the 13th. Might jog a little right early, a little left late. Overall, very straight.
Ernie on the tee with a 3-wood. Trade winds right back in his face. There's a bunker down the left-hand side that you want to avoid. Just send it up the right-hand side. There's enough slope in this fairway that it's going to funnel back down. And that is A1 right there.
Let's take a look at the 13th hole. It has played the toughest all 3 days. It's a par 4, 407 yards. That's not real long, but it's played right back into the wind. Fairway slopes from right to left a lot. As you saw, Ernie just hit a 3-wood. And the whole location today has been way left all week long because on the right side of the green, it's been so windy. There's so much slope, they can't put a hole location there.
Tiger's hit a lot of these really punch low 3-woods this week. He'll need one here, about head high.
Tiger.
So Woods finds the fairway with a shot that Butch Harmon impressed upon Tiger at Carnoustie last year, and he wasn't comfortable using it then, more comfortable with it now. Here's Weir at 16, trying to keep the birdie train rolling for 6 in a row. 7 in a row was the best last year. Remember Steve Pate doing that at Augusta and Ted Trieb at the Buick Open. The all-time tour record is 8. Tiger and Ernie tied for the lead here at Kapalua. This little crescent-shaped island in the Pacific is Molokini. It's a little escape. Short, quick one, too, from here in Maui. Welcome back to our continuing coverage of the Mercedes Championships, the start of the 2000 season. And there is Ernie Els, who, when he made his bogey when we joined you at the 10th hole, it was the first bogey he made all week. He did make a double bogey earlier, but that was 41 holes between holes over par. A double, 41 holes later, a bogey. So Ernie Els has not made many mistakes this week. And his little push at the end of the round Friday and the 3rd round yesterday, the reason he joined Tiger Woods in contention for the championship.
And Mike, in watching him play the last couple of days, you can just see that confidence grow and grow and grow. Feeling pretty comfortable out here. This shot at 167 yards, as Curtis said, the whole location on the left-hand side. Just wants to feed it right into the center of the green, let it work down towards the hole. Just trying to keep a 4-iron underneath the wind. That's left of the flag, watch out.
Same shot on the same type of shot on number 10.
That's exactly right,
left.
Curtis.
You know, ball's above your feet. The tendency is to go left. You have to make a mistake out to the right. You have all the green out to the right here.
And Curtis, Tiger's going to try to play the same shot. He played a 10. A low hook, started well out on the right center of the screen.
Coming off the right just at this minute, yep.
It's the voice of Steve Williams, his caddy, who's fit very nicely into Tiger's game. This should be low and out to the right and let the wind and the slope take the ball down toward the hole. Just an absolutely perfect executed shot.
Tiger showing the variety of shots, and we talked about him working on these shots during this week when we got here to Hawaii.
Well, all he does is put the ball back at his stance a little bit, more of an abbreviated backswing. You know, he's always short of parallel. They're a little bit shorter. And as he comes through, he'll drive very strongly with his legs, stay down and through, and then watch the abbreviated finish. And this ball comes out very, very low and still goes 260 or 270 with a 3-wood.
This was on the tee at 13.
And this is the same shot with a 3-wood from a different angle. Watch how he hits down and through. Actually takes a divot. Hit down and through. Obviously you want to hit the ball first. That's always good. The white ball, and down and through, and then go through the turf.
And that ground ball thing is not as effective as ball ground.
It doesn't travel as far.
That's very good. It's good analysis to start the 2000 season. You got to start basics. You know, you go back and break down the swing, go from the basics, and get more complex as the season goes on. Paul Lawrie, you see, the British Open champ. He was 5 under at the turn, made a triple at the 10th, but has come back with back-to-back birdies. We'll see a little bit more of Paul Lawrie on the PGA Tour in 2000, and here he is at 16 for a 3rd consecutive birdie attempt.
It'll be interesting to see how well Paul Lawrie plays. There's a lot of pressure and a lot of, you know, expectations out of the current British Open champion. It looks like he has a very, very solid golf game.
When he won the British Open, he bought a house in a second-hand Porsche. When we talk to the Mercedes guys, get a first-hand one. Paul, come on, with the money you got here.
Well, Ernie surveying this little chip shot that he has, not nearly as difficult as the one he had on number 10. Doesn't have the slope to contend with. Do a pretty good lie. Really, Curtis, he can play this 2 or 3 different ways. He can kind of take a 9-iron, or he can take a sand wedge.
Just all depends on what he wants to do, but what I would think he would not do is try to bump it through this fringe, Billy.
No, he's not going to bump it through there, and just has to play a wide left. Just let the grain and the slope take it down towards the hole. Well done.
Ernie qualifying for this championship 6 years in a row with a victory on the PGA Tour. Tiger and Ernie are 1 and 2 on that list. Ernie has not played in this event all 6 years that he's qualified for it. Has played in the last couple, and with the travel schedule, it's tough for Ernie to come from South Africa over to the West Coast in California or to here, a very long trip just to get the season started.
What do you say, 22 hours, 21 hours?
Right about that.
Yeah.
17 fairway. Mike Weir's second shot. Playing alongside Glenn Day, who just hit a wood into this green.
Hang on. Hang on. Stay up. Stay up.
And that is the difficulty faced with the flag in the left-hand side of this green. Wind howling out of the right.
Well, it's a tougher shot, obviously, for him because he's left-handed.
And let's not make a mistake, too, and forget the $2.9 million purse. One of the perks of winning last year is if you can finish with the top 5 here, you get a nice jump on the rest of the tour on the 2000 money list because it all starts anew. Although Tiger's #1 world ranking is going to hang on for a while. His margin in that, without getting into the complex math of it, is very, very large. And this for a 1-shot lead.
Really a very makeable putt. It's up into the hill, and then it's going to break hard left at the end, just all depending on the speed he decides on.
Just a few moments ago, this is David Duval heading up the hill to the plateau green at 14.
And from 84 yards is L wedge from a perfect lie.
You know, normally I would give David Duval a real outside chance of trying to catch these 2 guys, but the 2 guys being Tiger Woods and Ernie Els, I don't think he has much prayer.
Well, one of the reasons is because you have 2 par 5s on 15 and 18, but you'd expect at least one of these guys to, you know, be 2 under on those 2 par 5s. So if Duval went eagle, he would only gain a couple of shots on Those he's chasing. Second straight hole. They both make par. They go off to Finchy in the par 4 14th. Still at 14 under and tied for the lead in Kapalua.
Welcome back to the 14th tee and the co-leader, Ernie Els.
Well, no secret here. Ian, just want to put the ball in play. Just do not fool with those bunkers down that right-hand side.
Started out at that left-hand bunker in shot. Fade it back.
Well, that's perfect right there. Actually, the wind has switched a little bit. 3-wood got up there a long ways.
And just a few moments ago, this was Mike Weir. We saw him leave his second shot, long iron approach, just short left of the green. And a beautiful little touch with that shot around the green. Does this young fella from Canada have? And he'll convert that for his par. Now Tiger.
Just trying to put the ball in the middle of the fairway. Then iron. Doesn't need to do anything too crazy here. Did a nice job laying up at the short 12th and leave himself a perfect length. He's done the same thing here. He's laid back a bit. Should be able to hit a full sandwich, put some spin on it.
Both players in perfect position. Both players with a chance of another birdie to street the field even more. We caught up with Tiger and Butch Harmon earlier in the
Butch
week.
Tiger has said that he's made a lot of swing changes. You're the brains behind those swing changes, but what's the most important swing change, especially with the year that he had last year in '99?
Well, I think, you know, a lot has to do with his physical fitness. He's gotten so much stronger, which he needed to do to make the changes he wanted to make. These really weren't necessarily all my idea. This was Tiger and I's idea. And if Tiger doesn't leave me alone, I'm going to hit him with his club. But, you know, if you look at his golf swing now, his arms and body match up so much better than they did before. He's got the club in a much better position at the top. He used to get his right arm way behind his body at the top of his swing and then get in that stuck position coming down. And we've worked really hard to get the right elbow where it's pretty much in the middle of the body at the top of the swing. And then he's really worked hard to get his arms out in front of his body on the way down. You know, we all know what kind of body speed he's always had, and it was important to match up the arms and the body together. And this has allowed him to control his trajectory so much better, and that's why his distance control has gotten so much better.
That's why he won over $6 million.
Yeah, I know, and Stevie's the only one who's getting some of that.
Stevie Williams, his caddy, walking along beside him. He's been there for a year now, and a sterling job he's been doing too.
At the 15th, the par 5, this is Jesper Parnevik trying to save par. We mentioned 23 birdies for Parnevik this week, but 5 double bogeys. Trying to save a par at 15. So he'll drop a shot. 14.
And David Duval for birdie after that brilliant bunker shot.
Boy, I can't help but think how many putts he missed from 8 or 10 feet the first 2 days. Still having a good week.
At 15, Jim Furyk to get to 7 under par. Spotless day for Jim, 4 under par. Second set of back-to-back birdies.
This is a tee shot at David Duval here at 15. David hasn't had much luck with this hole so far this week. Had 2 pars and a bogey.
Tiger and Ernie
was launched there, Mike.
Yeah, you know, Charlie, if Tiger and Ernie make par at 14 and Duval can make eagle and post minus 13 through 15, the guys get to look at it. At least it'll make it a little bit more of a game.
No.
Come on, Kurt.
No, I think these guys are in such a match play situation right now. They're going to force each other to make birdies. They'll make a birdie here, I think, at 14. Then they have 2 par 5s left. 15, 16, 17, or 16 or 17 will be shot here.
That was Tiger from 77 yards. Should have a lot of spin on it. That's a good solid shot. Safe shot going right past the hole. You don't want to be short here.
He just hasn't come to grips with this hole this week, though. You know, he's been long. He just can't quite get the distance control right on that shot up the hill. Ernie Els now, a little opening, little gap of light just peeping through.
And Ian has 57 yards, but we saw yesterday he hit a brilliant little shot in here about 2.5 feet. from just a little bit longer distance, but we said yesterday for a guy that's 6'3", 6'4", you know, he just has marvelous touch.
And with the lob wedges these days, it's not hard to put enough spin on the ball coming from this distance. You should watch this. Just land just short
watch
of the
this
pin.
one.
Great shot. Ernie Els with a chance to take a one-shot advantage from this man, Tiger Woods. We'll be back to see if he can in just a few moments. Welcome back to Kapalua, Maui. Tiger Woods for birdie at 14.
And Ian, you better make this one because you know Ernie's going to make his short one. This is not as fast as it looks coming down this hill. It flattens out at the hole.
You're right, this putt is very easy to leave short, and that's exactly what he's done. It looks strong downhill, down grain, but many players have come up short there. Tap that in for a par 4 to remain at 14 under. Let's take a look at the scoring breakdown this week for Tiger. He's had 1 eagle, 19 birdies, 40 pars, and 7 bogeys. Very good scoring. 19 birdies and an eagle. He needs a couple more birdies if he's going to be on top at the end of the day. Now Ernie, straight putt, 4 or 5 feet, a little downhill to take a one-shot advantage. Well, yesterday he missed 4 putts for birdie inside 8 feet. And that one hurts.
So they have 2 par 5s remaining in the last 4 holes. 15 is next. Here's a look ahead.
Thank you, Mike. The par 5 15th is a par 5 that a lot of the players can reach in 2, but you're going to see most of them bailing out to the right, leaving themselves this very difficult little pitch up the hill. If you come up just a bit short, the slope is going to take the ball all the way back to you. You'll be playing the same shot again. If you can hit a great shot and knock it on the green, easy birdie. If you bail out, it's going to be very difficult. Over to Billy at 16.
The key design feature on the par 4 16th hole is the bunker in the middle of the fairway that forces the player to either go left or right. But with today's player, length not a problem, 252 to carry. They can hit it all the way down to the bottom of the hill, leaving them a pitching wedge or a sand wedge. We should see a lot of birdies. Now to Ian at 17.
The 17th hole has a huge elevation drop from tee to green, about 150 feet. The wind is howling out of the right-hand side. The players may be taking 3-wood from the tee to lay up into position. You'll see lots of medium to short iron approach shots. The key here is selecting the right club. Huge green, easy to hit, but very difficult to putt. To Curtis at 18.
I'm standing about 30 yards short of the 18th green. Now, you've heard us talk all week long about the 150-foot drop from tee to green. Most greens will slope from back to front to receive the shot. The 18th green is just the opposite. Now, to get it close here today, you're going to have to hit a good shot and also have some luck as well.
Crowd is very impressed that you did it on the first take, huh? Rightfully so.
Y'all are bad.
Yeah, that was legit, too. First try, the crowd went wild. Just wowing them here in Maui.
Nice action, Curtis.
Now David Duval's second here at 15. It's a 4-iron, just 217 to the front of this green.
Same shot he hit on Friday. Gosh, he's hit some poor long irons, Charlie. He hit the same exact shot on Friday.
That's what's cost him this golf tournament, Curtis.
Moment ago, we go to the 16th, and Jim Furyk for 3 in a row. Stays at 7 under, tied with Mike Weir. In 4th, Duval 11 under, alone in 3rd. Woods and Els tied for the lead here in the first event of the PGA Tour season. The LPGA season gets underway Friday on ESPN. 3-day coverage from Ibis in West Palm Beach. You'll see Nancy Lopez, Julie Inkster, Sari Pak, Dottie Pepper, and I guess Kari Webb in the Office Depot. The 2000 LPGA season, their 50th anniversary season, getting underway here on ESPN.
Britt Geiberger's out here in the 15th fairway. He's had some type of a ruling situation involving the cart path and he's called for a rules official.
Brent's in the second to last group.
Mike, Brent's been having some problems most of this back nine. He's made a few golf swings, obviously in some pain, a couple over on his round, but looks like he's really struggling with his back.
Hanging in there, though. Even par on the second nine, 3 under for the championship. Here's the hole coming up for the leaders, 15.
A reachable par 5, even though it's 555 yards. The wind out of the left, helping off the tee shot. Players will drive to about this position right there. Then have about 230, 40, or 50 into the green. As you see, the one place you do not want to miss is left, right where you saw David Duval just hit it. Most of the players will be to the right of this green in today's hole location, kind of front right. Tiger certainly has the advantage, but Ernie can't get on. The reason everybody's going to miss to the right, obviously the trouble's to the left, but there's a huge slope here too. So anything that lands in this area will funnel back to the left. Right.
Well, Brent got relief from the cart path and it's playing his second. It's a little away from him to the right, but you can see he's obviously in some pain.
Yeah, see end here, Charlie, after he made that swing. Hope it's something small. It's something that can be worked out and not a major long-term problem.
I haven't.
Season.
I've never heard of him having any back problems, so hopefully it's just a pulled muscle or something to do with his ribs.
You see Ernie's numbers for 1999, a season in which he finished 15th on the money list in just 18 events. But go back to the putt a moment ago that he missed on 14 when both players made par.
I think it's a huge putt that Ernie just missed because with 2 par 5s remaining, Ernie can get on both of them, but Tiger certainly has the advantage because he's so much longer. He'll be hitting a shorter club into both of these holes. Now that's taken for granted they both drive in the fairway, but I think Ernie felt like he wanted to be up on Tiger going into these last 4 holes.
And with the honors here at Curtis, a little bit of a wind switch. The wind is picked up. It's a little bit down and from the players left, so these players ought to be able to get there quite easily with good tee shots.
Come on.
In addition to all those stats you see, Tiger had the best birdie percentage on par 5s last year at about 52%. For comparison, Ernie Els was just about 38% birdies on the par 5s that he played last year.
Mike, I think Tiger got a little shot of adrenaline walking off that last green. He left after he missed his putt. He felt horrible. And then Ernie missed his. It felt like he just made his. So I think this is a big advantage for Tiger right now. He's driven it down the left side, taking it to the right. This is long.
There you see Tiger driving it 10 or 12 steps past Ernie on the angle.
This David Duval's 4th shot here at 15. David obviously not happy with himself. Backed off that shot a couple times before he hit it. But a very nice play there. And that left for his par.
Ahead to Mike Weir at the finishing hole. His 3rd at the par 5, and this is the hole Curtis just showed you, where it's kind of a banked runway right to left.
This will have to be played well short of the flagstick on this front right tier there, and it'll catch the slope right there, pick up speed. Not his best, but not bad.
Birdie putt trying to get to 8 under and alone in 4th for Mike Weir. Woods and Els still tied. Waiting for a wave here at 4 o'clock in Maui. We're at Kapalua here in Hawaii.
If that's surfing, I can do that.
You won't do any damage to any.
I'm okay.
Any golf necessary body parts out there in those calm seas. But wait. 1 year ago, that bay looked like this. And that is not suggested for golfers.
Pretty stuff, though.
Oh, it's great. It's a great view, and people enjoy the surfing over here in this part of the island. The golf season starting in Hawaii, Maui this week, next week to Oahu. For the Sony Open in Hawaii, to be played in Honolulu and seen same time next week here on ESPN. We're over at 18 for Mike Weir. Try to make that birdie. Mike started the day 1 under par. Has a chance to finish at 8 under.
This is not a tough putt because it is down grain, so getting it to the hole will not be something he'll have to think about. This putt.
6 under for the day is a round of 67 and a very good round to close for Mike Weir. Finished with the top 10.
Well, as Ernie waits for the green to clear, Ernie's going to have 252 and certainly can get there with ease.
Tiger's going to have no problem getting here. He's got 243. It is uphill dramatically, but with his length, he should be able to get it here.
Now this is Jim Furyk as we wait for the other two fellas at 15. Second shot at 17. Currently 7 under par for the championship.
It's hard to believe he's a good striker of the ball, but as we've seen over the last 2 or 3 years, he really does hit the ball consistently. He's a very, very good driver of the ball, and anytime he plays, he has a chance to win because he's such a good putter.
Jim here by virtue of his 3rd win of the Las Vegas Invitational. So the 2 in the fairway wait for number 2 in the world, David Duval, putting for par.
This would be some kind of a great par after that horrible second shot. He really hit a beautiful 4th to this point. Just down the hill, rain moving right to left, not a lot of movement.
Get it! Good save for Duval, whose lone bogey was on the 1st. David, who putted so well here last year when he won, had 100 putts for the week.
Well, Brent Guyberger will try to clean up his par. Actually had a chance to speak with him as we were coming up to this green, and said he has a vertebrae, middle back. It's locked up, not moving. It's very painful to swing the golf club. He said it even hurts to breathe. This game's hard enough when you can breathe.
Ian, that's normal for players of that height?
Yeah, tall guy's disease. Unfortunately, the upper thoracics and mid-back. First-time winners here this week. Glenn Day, Carlos Franco. Well, you can read them all. Paul Lawrie, British Open champion. Mike Weir, courtesy of that victory. Nota Begay, 2-time winner last season along with Carlos Franco. Back to 15.
Now Ernie with the 3-wood. Looks up here at the green, the flag not moving. But as I'm down here in the fairway, it's definitely moving left to right, and this is going to miss just to the right of the green, and that's going to be a hard shot.
The spot Andy North showed you earlier, and Andy's watching Tiger now.
One thing Tiger's thinking here, all the trouble, all the problems are short. You want to, you know, with his distance, he's got to be thinking, if anything, I want to kill it and hit it too far rather than too short. Billy said the wind has actually calmed down quite a bit, which is very beneficial in this shot because he needs to get it up in the air and carry it.
You can see how far left he's aiming this ball. Going to start it left and let the wind move it to the right. Started it way left.
That was 5 feet from being absolutely fantastic. Now he's going to have a difficult 3rd.
Back at 17 green. Jim Furyk to go to 8 under. Just a little left to right at the end. And he'll tap that one in for a par 4 to remain in 4th place, tied with Mike Weir. And the beautiful view. Kapalua Maui, the Mercedes Championships.
Back at the season opening, Mercedes Championships, $2.9 million on the line, $522,000, a Tiffany Trophy, Brioni Blazer, and a new Mercedes SL 500 on the line for the winner of the first event of the season here in the 50th state. Where the star is here in Maui, and next week the PGA Tour, as mentioned, moves a little bit north to Honolulu, where Jeff Sluman will defend his Sony Open Championship, and then ESPN's golf coverage of the Senior Tour begins the very next week at Hawala Live for the MasterCard Championship. Well, John Jacobs will defend there. And then the Big Island will once again host some of the senior greats for the Senior Skins game. Super Bowl weekend on ABC Sports, the home of Super Bowl 34. Let's go back to the Else and Woods story at 15.
Well, it's a very difficult shot, even though the pin is cut 8 from the right-hand side. Players only have about 4 to work with, and that is not going to stay. He's going to get to try that again.
And the reason that shot is so difficult because the face of the mound there right at the green is so steep, and also trying to bounce it through Bermuda rough. It's such a wiry grass, it doesn't roll very nicely. It's tough to judge the bounce and the roll through it. You got to bust it. You got to hit it harder than you think.
Curtis, that really changes the way Tiger looks at this shot. I felt like there's 2 ways to play this. A shot Ernie tried to play where you take a sand wedge, close it down, and try to skip it through the hill, or the lob that Tiger and Phil Mickelson have done so well. I would think now Tiger's probably going to go with the lob, and if anything else, he'll be 8 or 10 feet by the hole on the fly here.
Well, it looks like with the practice swings, that's exactly what he's going to try. And once again, the 60-degree wedge that so many players are using makes this shot a little easier. There's no bounce on the 60-degree wedge, which makes a tight lie, easier to make good contact with the ball.
It's got to be long.
Got to be long, you're right, Andy, but he also still has to figure that Ernie Els is going to make 5, that he's going to get it up and down.
Yeah, but that was a smart play. I like coming in there a little bit lower instead of trying to play the thing straight up in the air.
Woods made bogey here yesterday. You are listening to Andy North and Bill Kratzert with the last group. Charlie Reimers following David Duval. Ian Baker Finch calling the action. We'll hear from Ian again over at 17. Tiger made the point, as everyone's been billing this, his attempt to win a 5th consecutive PGA Tour start, which would be the 3rd best on the all-time history list, which is a whole different story about how they count. Tiger made the point that it doesn't really mean the same to him because it's 2 different seasons.
And I think it's a good point made, and it's nice that he understands that. Now Ernie's 4th. But what I said just a moment ago, we said earlier that this is a match play situation because they're so far ahead of David Duval, and you always have to expect your opponent to hit the good shot, and Ernie just did that.
This is David's second here at 16. Just a little baby sandwich from 93 yards. Well done.
But getting back to your point, Mike, is Tiger understands that if this would be 5 in a row, he had a month and a half or 2 months to rest and to play overseas and whatever. It's different than if you have it in a course of 12 months. There's, you know, you get tired trying to win 5 in a row, 5 straight weeks, or 5 weeks out of 7 or whatever. And he understands that. I think it's a point well taken that he acknowledges the fact that what Hogan and Nelson did were maybe a little bit better than he's trying to do. But it's still not too shabby.
Certainly not for official starts on the PGA Tour season, and also you're starting a new season where you were great in '99. Same true with David Duval, but that greatness doesn't carry you anywhere to start 2000.
I always felt that was difficult when you played so well in the previous year that, gosh dog it, I got to go and be even with you again, you know, and you got to start again, and that's what keeps the knot in your stomach and the will to continue to improve, is that every year come January 1st you start dead even again, and everything you did the previous year forget about.
All right, Andy, what are you looking at here?
Well, the wind has really died down. All of a sudden, putting is not the same as it's been the last 3 days. Putt is downhill, it's quick, and if anything, it's got to go a little bit to the right.
Birdie for Woods. And he takes the lead, heading to 16. That's Tiger's 5th birdie of the day. And now Ernie.
And now Ernie just has to collect himself. Just has this 2.5, 3 footer, just kind of a left center.
Well, he knew standing on the tee that if he made par, he was going to go one behind.
And he did. It's been a little bit of a seesaw day today for these players. They started tied for the lead. Ernie Els had the lead as they played the 6th, but Tiger made birdie. They were both 13 under par. At the par 4 7th, this was Tiger putting for par. He had a sand wedge into the green, but 3-putted. Lost a shot, lost the lead. At 9, the other par 5, this was Tiger out of the bunker, 3rd shot. See where Ernie's 3rd ended up. They both made birdie, so Els retained a 1-stroke lead, and here is that birdie putt at the 9th. So Els led by 1 as they made the turn, and a 2-shot swing on 10, Tiger for birdie. Ernie had dropped his shot, so he was 1 back on the tee of the par 3 11th hole. But responded to his first bogey of the week, and his first hole over par in his last 41 with a birdie. Both par 12 and 13. Chance for the lead at 14 slipped away.
And that could be the shot that he'll look back on because he had a chance to take the lead over Tiger Woods.
And after Els hit the poor chip, Woods responded, making the birdie 4 at the par 5 50. And he takes a 1-shot lead to the 16th. Par 4, then par 5 to close it out. And this is the 16th tee.
16 is a shortish par 4 up the hill. Bunkers in the middle of the fairway, 252 yards to carry those bunkers, which Tiger shouldn't have any problem with. Wide fairway, just take it right over the middle of the bunkers and hit a solid drive, and he'll have a wedge or a sand wedge.
Start, Tiger.
Thank you.
Easy, mate. Thanks.
Doesn't even see the bunkers in the fairway, even though it's 252 yards. Let's take a look. It's par 4, only 365 yards, but it's played tough all week because it's been into the wind left to right. The 3 bunkers in the middle of the fairway. Most of the players have been going left of them this week. After a good tee shot, left with maybe a little punchy 8-iron, maybe a 9-iron. Today for Tiger, only a wedge.
Now Ernie, all week long, has just been taking it up the left-hand side, hitting a little slider, working it with the wind. Same position as yesterday.
Just 2 birdies in the field. 28 have played this hole today. Hal Sutton and Nota Begay, and David Duval not among those because he missed his birdie putt there. He stays at 11 under. Here's Jim Furyk 2nd at the last.
I said a moment ago, it's amazing how good a ball striker Jim Furyk has become, and the reason being he has great hand-eye coordination, obviously, but it's a swing that he's natural with, and he's never tried to change. And if he ever tried to change it, he'd be in trouble. And that, another very, very good golf shot.
Won here when this was an unofficial event. Likes it here, plays well here. Jim Furyk, top 10 last year, top 5 this year.
Welcome back to the 17th tee and David Duval.
We've seen David hit 3-wood off this tee the last 2 days, but not today. That's the driver, and that's down the right side and very deep.
You know, Charlie, I think he can carry that whole bank on the right. Oh, he has. He's hit it way down the right-hand side, almost down to the flat, with just a little wedge or a sand wedge left for his next. I know Ernie and Tiger are sort of overshadowing David a little this week, but man, can he play. Back at 16.
Ernie Els is going to be the first to play with 101 yards. Once again, it appears as though the wind is laid down, but above this hill to the left of the green, that wind's got to be blowing. Can you hear his caddy, Neil Wallace? Take it just a little bit left of the flag, let it work back to the right. He's got a sand wedge out. He's going to have to hit this pretty solid to get it all the way to the hole. And he did. Golf shot.
Maybe because it wasn't on American TV, people don't know or remember that Ernie Els played great in South Africa at the $1 Million Challenge in Sun City. Set a tournament record, 26 under par, dusted the field.
On a good golf course.
Last month. Tiger.
85 yards. He's hit this shot thousands of times. Kept it below the hole. Well done.
Actually has an easier putt, although he's maybe twice as far from the hole, and he has an easier putt than Ernie Els.
Absolutely. Just what he'd like.
Well, Tiger started the season in good form on Wednesday on the practice tee, clowning around with Charlie Reimer. Charlie, who is a size larger in the hat department.
Just a size?
Oh, well.
It'd look great if he had a chin strap to go with it, guys.
Some clowning and fun. It's a nice shot of Charlie, too, on the end of that tape. Charlie showing his nimble feet. It's serious business on the golf course and within. But having seen now the majority of this run by Tiger over the last few years, if there's a distinctive quality to the person involved, Tiger has become comfortable with what's demanded of him and asked of him. He understands now that when he shoots 73, people want to talk to him just as much as when he shoots 63.
Well, we hear a lot of times how a person has matured and changed, but I can honestly say in the last 12 months he has changed a great deal. He's matured a great deal. He understands his position in the game and what it means. And I think he maybe rebelled a little bit prior to that, and rightfully so. He was so young.
You know, the same thing was true in some regards with David Duval. Last year, I remember him saying, I became #1 in the world after winning the Players' Championship, and all of a sudden, my opinion on a lot of topics became really important to a lot of people who I really didn't know.
Well, you try your whole life to become the best player you can be, and if that's #1 in the world, that's great. But what you don't bargain for is the demands that go with it, and that sometimes is tougher than the game itself, and some people accept it better than others.
Those are lessons you can't learn in the dirt on the practice tee. You can't prepare for that. And the way the whole scope of covering sports in general, this sport specifically, has changed in 10 years.
Well, you're exactly right, and Tiger, like we said, has improved a great deal, and Ernie Els is very, very good at it. Laid back, everything kind of rolls off of him, and he accepts the fact that he's #5 in the world and wants to become #1.
And the fans are watching Tiger, looking for back-to-back birdies for the 3rd time today. He leads by 1 as you watch 2 birdie attempts at 16.
And this putt is very much the same type of putt Tiger had yesterday that he missed just on the right. See if he remembers that. Putt's got to break from his left to right.
Ooh, that was a good putt. That was a good putt that he thought should have maybe taken a little more break, but it's part of putting on Bermuda grass greens. Sometimes good putts don't go in.
So, Billy, if you're Ernie Els, what are you telling yourself right now?
Well, I just got a little reprieve right there. Certainly after Tiger birdie number 15, you certainly think the adrenaline's flowing, that he's, you know, on a real high. Let one slip away yourself, but now Ernie Els. And I'll tell you what, Mike, if you need to make a putt coming down the hill, that's the one I want, because I don't have to remember to hit it. I can just let it go down the hill. And this straight down grain, very little movement.
Missed a 4 or 5 footer at 14 and a 5 or 6 footer at 16. That again, just like Tiger, looked like a pretty good putt though.
We'll go to 17 with Tiger leading by 1, barely. Even more unfair in slow motion. 17.
David Duval left with 182 yards only here into 17. This will be a nice full 8-iron. And that looks really good there, Ian.
Straight at the flag.
Nice shot.
Last year became the first player since Nick Price to earn 4 victories in consecutive years. Nicky Price doing it, of course, in 93-94. We'll take a look at this hole. 486 yards, but we've spoken about it many times this week. 150 feet drop from the tee to the green. Today, David and his partner have both taken it down the right-hand side, getting it down on the flat. Most players take it to the left, but then they have to hit across this deep and wide chasm to reach the green. Hole location today in the mid-left side of the green. Very difficult to get it close to the hole, but taking it down the right-hand side just made it that much easier to shoot their second shot straight at the hole. David Duval was Division I 4-time All-American at college with Gary Hallberg and Phil Mickelson, so he's come into the pro game with great credentials, and he's certainly carried on with that. Back at the tee, we now have Tiger, 1-shot advantage over Ernie.
Ian, this wind has really changed. I mean, it's not anywhere near as strong as it's been, and it seems to be more out of the right than it was. If these guys hit 3 woods, they can go ahead and hit them. They don't have to worry about just kind of popping them down here like they've been doing all week.
I know one thing for sure, Andy. If I took 3 wood from that tee, I'd be kicking it in my hand for my next shot. But for Tiger, I think probably just a 3 wood and a 8-iron, 7-iron maybe.
Jesus Christ.
Well, the wind didn't take this ball, but it carried well down the hill. Looks like it's going to stay just in the edge of the fairway or just get into the short grass. Well, it's right on the edge.
Sony Open in Hawaii next week. 20 of the 30 in the field here going, including Ernie Els, Vijay Singh, Jim Furyk. Slew, who defends, Tom Lehman, Lee Janzen make their season debut. Primetime coverage all 4 rounds. 7 Eastern starting Thursday on ESPN. Gary Nicklaus, the son of Jack, who earned his tour card.
Now Ernie trying to make something happen, but as Andy North said, this wind has laid down. In the first 3 days, the ball's pitching into this fairway. They really haven't gotten a lot of run.
Okay, Tiger, here we go, bud.
And this is all the way down there, and this is a great tee shot.
Both players with chances of 3s here at 17. There you have it. Duval, not much of a chance left. 4 back. We'll be back shortly.
Haleakala, one of the many landmarks, must-see places here in Maui. As we welcome you back to the Mercedes Championships. That is a male cardinal. Look at that.
State bird of Virginia.
Is that right?
Did you not know that?
No.
I finally got you.
That's terrific. That's good to know. I feel so academically enriched now for the coming year. 17.
And he's got to make this one an eagle the last if he's had any chance at all. Pretty straight putt there, Charlie.
Dead straight, just right up against the grain.
And just overcooked it a little. Par 4 for David. 4 shots behind.
Pretty good performance by the players ranked 1, 5, and 2 in the world, sitting 1, 2, and 3 on the leaderboard this week. Tomorrow night, Big Monday presented by Bud Light. First Big Monday of the year. All fired up, starting in the Big East. Georgetown takes on a good St. John's team. Connecticut lost earlier this week, so they'll probably stay around number 2, and they take on Texas. Tom Penders, old UConn alum, remember that. Utah-San Diego State is our midnight game out of the Mountain West. See Hano Metala and the rest of Rick Majerus' team against San Diego State. Triple header with SportsCenter before game 1 and 3. Back to 17.
And we're all watching Tiger closely here on the television. I know Andy North's watching him closely out there.
Well, thanks, Ian. He was unhappy with the wind, didn't take his tee shot, but I think he's actually got a better angle right now than Ernie. He's got the whole green to work with.
Ernie.
Decided, yeah, Tiger is away. 187 yards is going to play more like about 160. And he can shoot it right at the pin and not have to worry about carrying any of that front left part of the green that slopes off to the left, which is pretty dangerous. So I think he can be very aggressive with this.
Is it lying okay in the rough?
It's sitting absolutely perfectly.
It's been soft all couple of days, and you can fly it right there. Okay.
That's cool. You got it, dog.
Steve wants him to fly it all the way to the hole.
He's come up short the last couple of days. Relax the body. Big breath out. Full 8 iron, I would suggest, for Tiger. Being able to shoot at the flags under pressure and leading the tournament is a big thing that this man finds easy to do. Unfortunately, just finding the left side, and that'll run down into the long rough. Maybe just a little too aggressive. Certainly not what he wanted. Trying to apply the pressure to Ernie Els, who's about to play next.
And Ian Ernie has 179 yards. 162 to the front. Wants to carry this ball right in the neighborhood, 68, 69.
Like 9, eh? No, I like a 9. Smooth 8. Hold it up a little bit.
And you can hear the caddy Neil Wallace conversing with Ernie. Ernie likes the 9 iron. That's how much this second shot plays downhill. But right now, Ian, I don't know if there's enough wind behind him to help him.
It's a big 9 iron, that's all I can say.
I'll tell you what, he's going to have to thump this one.
If he doesn't want to end up in the same place as Tiger.
Come on.
Well, he got all over it. He needs to get down.
Come on.
Flag high.
Well, advantage Ernie there to 18.
Jim Furyk has had a very long wait at 18. Jesper Parnevik ran into some problems. This is Furyk for birdie. It'll slide by. Jim will make his par, finishing at 7 under for the championship.
Got that hanging a little bit right.
We've had one eagle here today. That was by David Toms, who finished at 3 over for the championship. 4 birdies: Olin Brown, Gabriel Yetstedt, Stewie Appleby, and Carlos Franco. Carlos had a nice day, 7 under par round.
There you see the elevation change, 150 feet from tee to green. And remember, the green also goes away from the player, so you need some luck as well as a good shot to get it close to this hole in 2 or maybe 3.
Well, Curtis, Ernie is going to have to give this one a big swat to get there in 2. The wind not as much behind the players as it was the first 3 days. Now, this is a good-looking drive right here. Oh, this is right in the alley. This is long. In fact, I think this is the longest drive Ernie's hit on this hole this week.
Billy, every one he hits is long.
Oh, I know. He averages 278.
And that's 15 behind Tiger. Boy, what a drive at a key time.
Tiger's going to have to keep his emotions together, not try to hit it too hard.
Something in his eye, apparently, as he was about set to launch. So we'll restart again. Woods used to wear contacts, but had that corrective surgery last year and talked about how seeing better, and one of the advantages was less problem in the wind.
Well, he sure had that tested this week. Right, just get yourself under control emotionally. Focus on your swing thoughts for the day. And it's headed down the right side. Seeing how much it turns over.
And there wasn't a lot left in that swing either. That's what you call full throttle, Mike. Like you.
You see where Ernie is too. Pretty good game on the 18th hole, all tied for the lead. It's a windsurfing paradise as long as you're skilled at that adventure. This week here in Maui, when the trades were blowing 25, 30 miles per hour, they were not blowing as severely the last 2 days. Tiger Woods, Ernie Els tied for the lead at 14 under par here in our final round. Yesterday, Tiger came to the 18th. They're really struggling. Had not much going right. This was his second shot.
And this is where he has an advantage. Every time he walks on the golf course, he's able to get it on just about every par 5 he plays. Makes a lot of eagles.
He was trailing by 1 at this point. Behind Ernie Els. They were in the same group, the last group. Ernie made birdie. Tiger made the eagle putt. And this is the history Tiger is trying to chase. It will count as a consecutive victory because the end of the last season, the beginning of this. You see Ben Hogan's 4 in 1953, but most every golf historian recognizes that in 53 is truly 5 consecutive victories because Hogan, in his only British Open start that year, won at Carnoustie. It was not an official tour event at that point. So in the tour record book, it's 4. In golf history, it's 5.
And they should count the British Open. You know, they don't count Tom Watson's 5 British Opens as official wins.
John Daly's was the first one that started counting as official events.
It was one of the major championships of the world, the oldest major championship in the world. And they should count as we watched David Duval's 3rd at the 18th, coming down the slope.
You're playing for the first prize that David Duval won last year. This year, the numbers go $522,000, a Tiffany Trophy, Brioni Blazer, which is a beautiful jacket, and a sporty new Mercedes-Benz SL 500. Powerful 302 horsepower V8 engine. It's been right there sitting off the first tee, so a chance to look at it as everybody headed off the first tee this week.
Sarah likes to see okay, but Debbie likes that one, I understand.
We have action here at 18. I can't be bothered with our wives' car interest. Well, I'll tell you what, Charlie, for playing hurt, Brent Geiberger's made pars on every hole here on this back 9.
Well, Brent can really be proud of himself today. He was in obvious pain and just gutted it out. Have a nice finish here this week.
Par here, chance to save himself a top 10. It's a big group at 3 under par, tied for 8th. Glenn Day, Vijay Singh, Paul Lawrie, Tom Pernice, who had the terrific round yesterday when he shot put it up the leaderboard with a 65. Brad Faxon, who was even par today. The Louis Vuitton Cup, the Challenger semifinals continue. America's Cup 2000, the challenge rounds on ESPN. It's been an interesting week for the American entries. America won in Stars and Stripes. Jim Kelly, who's hosted the last 6 America's Cups. Back there with Spinnaker at the ready for the coverage, which continues late night tonight on ESPN2. Fans cheered David Duval's victory in this event last year, starting 4 in 8, propelling Duval to the world #1 ranking. He sits a solid #2 and will certainly not hurt that this week with a 3rd place finish.
It's a tricky putt to read here.
Next stop, snowboarding. David's off to Idaho for a week. Last time he did that, and then went to the Bob Hope. He shot 59 in the final round and won. We'll see him on ESPN and ABC in 11 days, actually 10 days in Palm Springs at the Hope. It's a 5-day event. And we'll have 5-day coverage too. Wednesday through Sunday. Once again, Woods and Else wait as Skyberger finishes. Brent will defend this summer at the Cannon Greater Hartford Open.
And Mike, we talked about it on the air some yesterday. Brent got his first win last year. This is a kid who's going to be in the winner's circle a lot. Very solid player. He's going to be coming back to this Mercedes Championships in the future.
Showed some good play after the win too, Charlie. We finished third at the Western Texas Open, just missing that playoff that Duffy Waldorf won, and then third at the Tour Championship. Tough day playing through pain, but he parred all 9 holes on the way in. And so there are 2, and they are tied for the lead.
This is just what these guys live for. Have a chance to win. Last hole, Tiger 308 yards to the hole. Severe downslope. Any miss hit here is going to come out very low. He'd like to land this ball just short of the green. He'll definitely kick left and fairly hard.
Andy, you're right. This is fun.
Kick left. Left.
Wow.
You know, I got to tell you, I have to say, we talk about this guy. You try not to blow it up too much, but he hits truly phenomenal golf shots. Standing on the side of a hill, the tendencies to go left too much. Phenomenal golf shot.
Billy?
Well, Mike, that certainly dictates what Ernie Els has to do. 287. Just has to step up there and match it. These guys have played together the last 3 rounds. On Friday, they were talking to one another the last few holes. Not a lot of words have been spoken. That's heading left. If it scoots by that bunker, we got some action. If it gets over that rise.
Come on down.
Now, we just talked about Tiger's shot. Ernie hitting that shot after Tiger was even better. Have some of that, Tiger Woods.
We will be right back, and I know you will be too. 2 awesome shots. Else was better. What a show by these 2 the last 3 rounds of golf. They both shot 71 on the opening day. Since then, they've both hit 204 shots each in the same group. And the 204th may have been the best of the bunch. Our Pacific Life leaderboard brought to you by Pac Life. You see that it's up to these 2. Duval's solo third, $197,000 for the solo third. Furyk and Weir will share 4th place money, which is $127,500, and on back through the field of 30.
Well, Mike, this sure is fun, isn't it?
Oh, that was the theater that you hope for on the 18th hole. And players who've won majors, who've won in all corners of the world, have come to maybe one of the most beautiful spots in the world and kept their play and performance at the highest level.
We throw away the word great around a little bit too often, I think, but here we do have 2 great players hitting 2 great golf shots on the last hole.
I'll tell you guys, I'd love to be in Tiger's position, being able to putt first. Both putts are very makeable, not a lot of break in either one of them. You know, I always felt like you could have maybe a freer run being the first guy. Go ahead and just knock it in, put the pressure all back on Ernie.
I'd like to be in that position too, Andy.
Still say Ernie Els has the easier putt, though. This one is a difficult putt to read. Andy, I don't think it has a lot in it.
It's just convincing yourself that there's not much break.
After a week of every putt with large breaks and almost having to look over your left shoulder to see the hole for putts that were so involved with the wind and the green. This for eagle, with Ernie's eagle putt waiting.
Ernie Els knew going out today he was going to be at his best. He's got to hit one of his best putts to finish.
And now to try to stuff it in on top of that and send us back to the 18th tee for a playoff.
Well, Curtis, about a minute ago, I certainly would have agreed with you this was the easier putt, but right now this one's lengthened out by about 6 or 7 feet.
Yeah, the tough part is just getting out to the right. This actually might have a little more break than Tiger's, but grain going from right to left. The tendency we've seen all week long is to miss his putt to the left.
Oh, yeah! That was so much fun. Let's do it again. On the 18th tee.
Players will return to the 18th tee for a sudden playoff.
The playoff in a minute. Be right back in Maui.
Position to go. All right. Player of the year.
Curtis.
Go ahead, Finchy.
You guys identify your golf balls.
This is a match play situation. Which would you rather be, first or second?
I always want to be first. Always wanted to be first.
See Steve Williams there giving him the key for the day. Keep the elbows in, keep them close to your side. That's what they were working on.
The reason, Ian, I wanted to be first to hit a good shot. You got to be confident to play first, but play first, hit a good shot, and immediately put the heat back on your opponent. Shoot it out to the right tent that you see just over the big tall grass.
Great drive.
Oh, yeah.
Beauty, Tiger.
Perfect, and this one looks like it's going to end up longer than the last one did.
Tigers played the hole this week in 5 under par. Ernie 4 under. Not that that means a darn thing right now.
Well, Ernie doesn't carry the ball as far, so his ball should pitch down the slope a little bit more than Tiger's.
Looking anxiously. Sometimes you think it's too far right on this hole.
Well, he hit it way up to the right, and that kind of killed it, and he's got a much longer shot. In fact, I don't know if he can reach it in 2.
So Ernie Els, whose only prior playoff experience was the playoff at Oakmont in the '94 Open when he beat Warren Roberts and Colin Montgomery. Well, as you can see from Steve Williams in the distance, Ernie's got a little bit longer to go.
Certainly does, Mike. Ernie has 323. Andy, what's Tiger have?
283.
40 yards difference.
And Tiger's on a flatter spot.
Yes, Ernie's up on the hill, a little bit of a downhill lie.
And the wind is blowing much less than it's blowing all week long, so 323 with a 3-wood.
Target again.
I don't know.
In fact, it's almost calm out here right now, but I think he really has to hit something low, hot, turning right to left in order to get it back there to the flag, Curtis. Only the flags above the grandstands on the right are blowing.
Come on.
Well, I'll tell you what, he gave this a great swat. If it releases down.
Go on. Go. Go. Go.
How about this shot? Hit that slope.
Go, 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 go.
You know, Mike, the only thing I can say is that these two players are making it look easy, but I guess great athletes do that, but it truly isn't. Ball's above their feet, green way below them. Got to shoot it out to the right.
Drew?
Well, 283 yards, 241 to the front, so he can land this ball anywhere around the front portion of the green. It should run down that slope into the back half of the green. Going with an iron.
See how far right he's aiming this.
This one's a little bit to the right. Needs a hop left. Oh man, another 2 yards to the left, and that'd have been fantastic. It's still good.
Off the tee, advantage Tiger. Second shots, advantage Ernie. The playoff of the Mercedes Championships continues live on ESPN after this. The people of this state are so friendly and make you feel so welcome. They have truly shown their appreciation for this event. The crowds, once again, this year are certainly high, considering that most people vacation here and don't live here. Many of the people who live here in Maui are people who work in the tourism industry at the many great hotels in the area. So hats off to them, and hats off to the people involved with this tournament start to finish, including Gary Planos, who every time we come to Kapalua makes us feel like we are at home. Kim Carpenter, the tournament director, has done an outstanding job with this event. There are not many players who come here and don't have as good a time as they have at any tour event during the season. So, gentlemen, on behalf of everyone involved with the tour and our TV coverage, thanks for making us feel welcome and at home again here at Kapalua.
Tiger's going to be able to putt this ball from the fringe. He's got about 75 feet. He's about 5 or 6 feet, and then he goes right down that ridge. So judging the speed early on is going to be very important, and then it's just basically downhill and down grain.
There's the ridge that Andy's talking about. It's fairly flat to this position. We'll start down and then flatten out the hole. And Andy, it's got to feed off to the right at the hole. When the ball loses speed and the grain will take over, it has to go to the right.
Plus the back portion of this green is lower than the front portion, so it has to go to the right. This is a putt that if you can get away from you very, very easily. You can roll this ball 5, 6 feet by the hole pretty easily.
But he's not trying to make it. Just trying to get it close where he can get the next one in. That was a fooler there. That went left the whole way down the hill, and
Okay, this is RFT. Want me to
he didn't expect that, I'm sure. Neither did I.
I think the one thing that did, Curtis, is it took a huge weight off Ernie L's shoulders. I think he's breathing a lot easier now, and it really is advantage Ernie.
And he was watching that putt all the way down. A little bit different angle right here. Green going back towards the back of the green, a little to the right.
Ian, I think what you meant when you said a huge weight off Ernie right here. He actually has two chances to win at this moment. He can either make the putt, or he can hit a good putt and not go in, and Tiger still has to make that 6-footer. So
exactly right. A lot different to how he was about 15 minutes ago, knowing he had to make it just to stay in it.
So Ernie has this putt to win. He had a feeling it was going to take a little dive to the left instead of to the right. It's looking pretty good to Eltz, who makes a birdie 4, which Woods must match to send us to the second playoff hole, which is the first hole on the golf course.
This putt is almost the exact same putt that L's just made for the eagle to send it to overtime.
it's not a tough putt, though. What makes it tough is the situation. Has to make it to continue in the playoff, but if anything, right center, might just fall to the left just a little bit.
And off we go to the second playoff hole, which is the 473-yard par 4. Welcome back as the playoff continues here at the Mercedes Championships. Mike Tirico, Curtis Strange, Ian Baker-Finch, Andy North, and Bill Kratzer with Tiger and Ernie, as they have been all day. Charlie Reimer followed David Duval today. Duval finishing third at 12 under par for the championship. Woods and Eltz both eagled the 18th. Birdied the first playoff hole. It's on the 90 degrees, I guess, not the other side of the clubhouse, to go from the 18th to the first. A par 4, 473-yard hole. And we have the chance to give you a look at here. The hole location is back behind the bunker, front right of this green.
This hole continues down the slope that you just came off of on 17 and 18. Tee shot is straight down the hill. As you see the tee just under the clubhouse. And the players will be left with, you know, a short iron into this. There you see the hole location front right. Players will drive it down to the bottom, just over in this position.
Just 3 birdies here today, and 18 out of 120 attempts this week. If the playoff would continue, it would go to number 2.
Tiger's actually laid up off this tee the first 2 days. But with the wind laying down more than it has all week long, probably go with a driver, possibly a 3-wood.
Let's talk for a minute about Ernie Eltz and the week that has been for Ernie. Being paired with Tiger may have helped him jumpstart the 2000 season, because Tiger really played a lot better than Ernie did on the second day when Wood shot 66 and Eltz shot 70.
Good players like to play with good players. As simple as that.
Perhaps got his attention a little bit.
Tiger going with a 3-wood. Sorry, Andy.
Oh, that's all right. Wind has picked up a bit. This fairway not only slopes down, but also hard from right to left. So he needs to start this ball down the right center like he's done at 17 and 18. That's through the end of the fairway into the light rough. Looks like he's got a decent lie.
But not good with the front right hole location. And also downwind.
Well, Curtis, this wind has really picked up all of a sudden and straight behind Ernie's back. Has to be careful or he's going to run it through the fairway also.
Shot. Right.
Saw Tiger pointing down towards the water that you can see from walking down that first fairway, as we are as well out our window.
And that ran through the fairway.
Yep, we both did. And back there, some action in the water behind this first green. SportsCenter will come your way at 11 Eastern with Dan Patrick and Stu Scott breaking down the wild card games. Congratulations to Dan Marino, Jimmy Johnson, and the Dolphins knocking off the Seahawks. And the victory today by Minnesota, handily over Dallas. A conversation with the Vikings' Chris Carter is ahead, and we'll wrap up the Mercedes Championships. Jimmy Roberts has been here all week, and we'll have the wrap-up for you. See some whales back there? So we were looking out at the water.
I see one big whale having some fun.
This is that time of the year here. 3,000 humpback whales mating in the shallow waters. There's a little bit of that action out there as we speak.
Actually, the first time all week long we'll be able to see them because of the whitecaps, the wind blowing. One of the roughest stretches of water anywhere.
You've seen the brave souls who have been out in sailboats. One of the PGA Tour executive staff was out here enjoying the week.
Henry Hughes, our senior vice president, congratulations, went out on the Maui Gym boat earlier this week, caught a 629-pound blue marlin. Great going, Henry.
It's the same people who do the sunglasses, the Maui Gym. So Henry out on their boat, sunglasses on, a gigantic catch. Wait, I thought you said during the week it was a 500-pound fish.
I owed him 100 pounds, and there you have it, Henry. Sorry.
How about that for a fish story? It took 2 days for the fish to grow 100 pounds. It's a good way to start the season for everybody, including the players. But it's interesting. You get into this very relaxed atmosphere, and all of a sudden you are faced with the business of 2000. And I'd like to hear you amplify the point you made earlier that every time you started a season coming off a good year, and you played in this event several times when you had 7 straight years with a victory. When it gets to the start of the season, all of a sudden it's brand new. So what you did in '99 for these players means not a thing when you get on the tee.
And I try to remember that. When I started January 1st, I tried to forget what happened the year before because you'd had a month or 2 off. And you might think you could carry it over, but you can't. You have to start all over, and that's why I always had a knot in my stomach come January 1st. You know, you had to get determined again. You had to start all over, and the guys you felt like you should beat every day were even with you. But you had to prove yourself again.
What's interesting for Tiger is there wasn't much time off. He played in Malaysia, Taiwan, Japan, Hawaii in the Grand Slam, and then Phoenix in the Williams World Challenge last week. Well, what an 18th hole theater these players provided. In regulation, Woods made the eagle his 2nd consecutive day with an eagle at 18. But Ernie Eltz hit the 2nd shot that ended up closer to the hole. Putted 2nd, followed Tiger's eagle with one of his own, and on they went to the playoff at the 18th tee. And Ernie did not hit his best drive off the tee, but hit a fabulous 2nd shot.
323 yards to the hole. Once again, a lot downhill, but that is still a big hit.
Go on. Go.
Tiger ended up a little bit right and short of the green. His putt was left and below the hole. Ernie made his birdie. Thought he had made his eagle, so Woods had this to match and sent it to a second playoff hole. And here they are for second shots at the second playoff hole, which is the first here at the plantation.
Ernie with 146 yards really drew the better of the two lies in the rough. A little bit better angle. Hole location only 14 paces on. I would certainly think it's just some kind of wedge, a little bit short, and let it release.
Andy?
Now Tiger with 144, and as Billy said, this ball's a little bit fluffy, downhill, downwind, with a little bit of grass around the ball. If he can stop this ball around the hole, he's even better than we think.
And they both hit the smart shot because they drove it in the rough. And you don't want to beat yourself.
Tiger will lead the way down, then Elts will putt. Will somebody win here on the second sudden death hole at the Mercedes Championships? Welcome back. Our second sudden death playoff hole here at the Mercedes Championships with Tiger Woods and Ernie Els. Again, the Tiger Woods streaks that we've talked about very often, but we'll just repeat them, trying to win once again, the 5th consecutive start over 2 seasons, and the streak of having the lead going into the final round. But as we said at the very beginning, this is a little different animal. It wasn't a 2 or 5 shot lead, and it wasn't an untested player behind him. It was one of the best in the world, and Ernie has showed that, matching him shot for shot.
It's an animal called Ernie Els, number 5 in the world. We kind of forgotten about him the last 2.5 years. But he, 2.5 years ago, was going to be the next superstar. Just won the U.S. Open for the 2nd time at still such a young age. But kind of taking a little bit of a back seat to Tiger and David Duval and maybe Sergio Garcia. And let me tell you something, that bothers a guy who feels like he should be the number 1 in the world. So he has a lot to prove today and is doing it so far, but you have to finish the job off. I don't care how well you play or what you do, you got to finish out on top to prove yourself.
Ernie was 27 when he survived the bogey-laden U.S. Open at Congressional with some great shots down the stretch. His 17 comes to mind, and then as all the theater was going on, a group behind at the 17th, Ernie hit a terrific shot at the par 3 finishing downhill 18th and won his 2nd U.S. Open.
And you know they don't care how you do it. You just want to put your name on that trophy, and they want to put their name on this trophy too. They have 2 putts here that really aren't makeable.
Curtis, this is actually a pretty interesting putt because it's quite a bit back downhill, but yet it's into the grain a little bit, and this has got to break quite a bit from right to left, and they're exposed down here. The wind's blowing pretty hard. I think this is going to be slower than they think going back down the hill.
What do you think about that?
Unbelievable. Curtis, you said before about
having to expect your opponent to hold the putts in a match play situation. I don't even think Ernie would have been expecting that one, do you?
Well, you know, no. To answer your question, no.
That was a tough putt.
You know, again, playoffs, match play situation. They've been in a match play situation since the 3rd or 4th hole. And he's trying here. He's seen the line. He knows the speed. Now you just got to do it.
Well, the crowds here certainly have been treated to a smorgasbord of great golf shots, great putts.
Boy, they really have, Ian. And I don't know what their standing heart rate is. It must be about 12.
It ends up just short. New season, same result. Another Tiger Woods win. That's 5 in a row in official PGA Tour starts.
Great playing, Tiger. Unbelievable, great theater. This is what this is all about.
Yeah, it's competition at its best right there. And we were out there grinding our butts off today in this weather, and we both played well. And to come down and make 3 on the last hole to force a playoff, and then make 4, and then make a putt like this, that's all you can ask for.
Someday this game's just more fun than it is others, isn't it?
And there's no doubt about it.
Well done. Over to Billy.
Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, Andy. And Ernie, you made a big putt on 18, but you just didn't make the putts today. You hit the ball great, and Tiger, he's the man.
Well, I feel I played better than him from tee to green the last 2 days, so that's a positive for me. If I can make some more putts, I'll play up to that level, but at least I took him to extra time.
Well, it was a great match, certainly impressive, a lot of fun to watch.
Thanks a lot, Paul.